Welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is another roster review. This is going to be for my patron. He goes by Whicks. That's kind of how you pronounce it, Whicks. And Whicks is with the Alliance Syndicate. Yes, that's awesome. Great team. Now, his stats look great. His arena squad, he's doing excellent with his Empire blended team in the top 20. And then for ships, he's in the top 140, so that's not bad at all. We're going to go through this pretty quick. You're on Empire. Basically what you told me is you've been playing for a little over 6 months. You've got a little bit invested. I wouldn't even call you a dolphin. You pretty much, for the most part, do the $10.99 a month thing where you get 100 crystals a day, so that's pretty cool. And you recommend the game, obviously, for people who can, spend $10 a month, because you do need that to kind of get a competitive edge. You were fine with this being public, so that's good, but you're kind of nervous about the meta shifting, and so I just want to talk on that for 1 second, and then we'll move on. So the meta is something it's the characters that are most popular that everybody's using, and there will always be the newest character set that comes out and people get excited and use it. So the meta might flux, or it might change ever so slightly temporarily to those period of characters. For example, Darth Maul right now, if you look at a lot of leaderboards, that's starting to kind of flux. However, that will go away after about 4 to 6 weeks, and it goes back to the staples, the teams that are tried and true and are good. And the meta, so to speak, the characters that are popular, it's ever changing and ever growing because they're going in and changing what characters are actually viable and stuff. And so when the game first launched, there wasn't a ton of viability with certain characters, and other characters there was. So that is why they've had to go through and rework as well as add new characters to the game. So as they do that, it'll continue to grow. So don't be nervous about the meta changing. Stick with what you know. Stick with what you're doing. I know you said you haven't unlocked the Zeta challenges for ships, but you're going to get there. You're fine. And then the last thing was you talked about wanting to save gear for General Kenobi, and that's not a bad idea. We'll talk about that in a second. So first off, you're in the top 20. That's pretty amazing. Your team looks excellent. Right now you're working with Emperor Palpatine as the lead, which helps your other Empire, and of course your TIE fighter pilot probably is lightning fast. You've got a couple of tanks. One is a Dispeller, plus you have Boba Fett doing damage. So for right now, honestly, for the characters you have in the game, this is a pretty awesome team that you have. However, if you wanted to kind of tweak it and make it just a little bit more devastating, you could take Sunfac out. I know he's your Dispeller, but you could take him out and potentially put Sidious in. And the reason why Darth Sidious would be good is he's got an AoE, he kind of self-heals, and he will put Expose out once you get him leveled up, and you Omega his second ability. He will put Expose on all the targets, so when Boba Fett or when Emperor Palpatine or TIE Fighter hit, they're going to just have that much more punch, because you kind of need just a little bit more of a punch on your team, because Sunfac and Shore Trooper really don't provide a whole lot of offense, and having 2 tanks is kind of hard to level up. So Sidious would be maybe an alt that you could level up and put in there. So there's that. We're going to go ahead and go into your inventory and zip through this pretty fast. The first thing I like to look at is Scoundrels. You really need a good Scoundrel team to make sure that you can get through and get all of the credits and your training bots, so that way you can level all your characters up. And overall, you're doing fine. Lando, Boba Fett, Stormtrooper, IG. You could do Han Solo if you want, no need. Really, those top 4 are going to get it for you, and it looks like they're high enough so you don't have to worry about leveling them up anymore, except Boba Fett. So yeah, go ahead and make sure you finish Boba Fett. Now, on to, aside from Boba Fett, we're going to go to the first team that I feel like you should focus on and finish, and that is going to be your Empire team. All right, and so you've got Emperor Palpatine, Shore Trooper, TIE Fighter, and Darth Vader. That's an excellent top 4. You can always create a blend team with Sith, so you don't have to do all 5 Empire, but if you want to do the potency challenge, you're going to have a 5th Empire, and your Royal Guard is your 5th. He's really your highest. You don't have to get Grand Moff Tarkin any higher. Royal Guard, he's an excellent sub-in tank. He's just a very irritating tank to go against, even today. I know a lot of people think that he's old meta, but he's still relevant even now. So I would continue to focus on these characters, and remember Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine are Sith too, so that's going to knock a couple of your Sith birds out while doing the Empire. And then once you get your Empire established, then I would go back and I would finish Rebels. And when I say finish Rebels, what I mean is finish 3 characters. Really, you got your 7-star Emperor Palpatine. You don't have to develop any more Rebels if you don't want to. You can do the mod challenges. You got that. So I would, at minimum, finish your Biggs and your Wedge. Because that duo is just phenomenal. They can plug into any team comp if you need a high DPS group. And then I would also finish Admiral Akbar, and the reason for that is you're using him in ships, and he's a great rebel lead. Your Lando's pretty much finished, so that's that. But I would only finish those 3, because you're not going to be spending a ton of money or anything, so you got to really make sure you're hyper focused. So do the Empire and then finish your Rebels as the first thing you do. So you've got about 5 characters there to focus on, and then after that, move on to your Sith or your Jedi. You can choose whichever you'd like to focus on, Sith or Jedi. But if you go to Sith and you decide to focus on them, just know that you're already going to have Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader done. Darth Maul needs to continue to be focused on because of ships and his scimitar, which you use. So I would definitely continue focusing on him. And I suggested as a side project already, leveling up and gearing up Darth Sidious, possibly as a plug-in to your arena team right now, also for Sith, and also you could use him in a hybrid team with Empire if you so wished to do that. Now, you do have Darth Nihilus, so I would recommend just gearing up those top 4, and then I would do Darth Nihilus. I would actually gear him up, and the reason for that is he is extremely viable even at 3 stars, so definitely I would focus on him. Now, this is all, of course, after you've done your Empire and Rebels, you move to Sith or Jedi. Do Sith or Jedi first, and then whichever one, let's say you do Sith first, then you'll move to Jedi second. And with your Jedi, you've got JC there because you're using him for ships, and Ahsoka, and you're using her ships. So potentially you could plug her ship in anyway. So those 2, because they have ships, you could continue to develop. Kit Fisto for your setup doesn't really make any sense, and at this point Luminara I wouldn't spend any more energy on. Once you've completed your Empire, finished your Rebels and Sith, and you're looking at Jedi to build a Jedi team, I'd really focus on getting Ayla and Jedi Knight Anakin, but neither one of those do you have unlocked. So Ayla and Jedi Knight Anakin are the 2 that I would get and max out, and you've got Qui-Gon Jinn pretty much maxed, and you'll have a good Jedi team. So continue to develop your Jedi Consular and Ahsoka Tano, and then you need to unlock and open and max at gear and max level Ayla and Jedi Knight Anakin. For the 2, they're both going to come out of Cantina for you as far as Ayla and Jedi Knight Anakin. So I'd recommend doing Ayla first. She's a stunner. She can stun, and she's super tanky, super durable, and you can put her into other teams that are not Jedi comps and work really, really well. Of course, the same could be said for Jedi Knight Anakin. He's got that buff immunity that he can apply, and he can really protect the team, kind of like a Royal Guard, but offensively. So really, I mean, I guess you could go either direction, but I would definitely recommend getting Ayla and Jedi Knight Anakin added to this. And then hopefully, you said you're working on getting General Kenobi. He'd be your 5th on your Jedi team. And General Kenobi, you asked if you should, save up all the gear for that. And I would say if you're dedicated enough to, then that's great, especially if you're about to unlock him. However, there's so many other characters you need to gear up right now. You might just want to, put in with the gear that you have into the characters you have until you have them unlocked. But I don't know, if you've got the dedication to set gear aside for him, that's not a bad idea. People love that, because then you can, jam him up to gear 10 or 11 and plug him right into your arena team, and he would be a great replacement to Sun Fac to add a little bit more punch and a cleanser onto your arena team. And then lastly, let's go ahead and go into ships. So your basic ship squad right now is Admiral Akbar lead, and then you have Biggs in there, which is great, and you have the TIE Fighter to feed more turn meter to your ship, and the Scimitar, that's smart. The Scimitar is a support character. The TIE Fighter, of course, is your attacker, and Biggs is a tank. But you also have Slave 1 in there, and you also have JC in there. I would switch out those 2, put them on the bench, and switch out from those from the bench, I would put in Wedge and Sunfac. Sunfac and Wedge, because that's another tank and that's another attacker. So you'll be more balanced on your first 5. You'll have the Scimitar, who can target one of your 2 tanks, Biggs or Sunfac, to really screw with the other team. You'll have Wedge, who's one of the heaviest hitters in the game for ships, and you'll have the TIE Fighter. TIE Fighter is going to be applying the turn meet or the turn lock, and your Scimitar will apply turn lock when they're coming in. So that's who I would do. I would put in your Sunfac into your first 5, and I would also put in the Wedge, your Wedge ship, because see, your Sunfac ship's one of your highest, and same thing with Wedge. He's one of your highest. So it's going to make your team overall more durable. So you need to run it out and see what you think, but I would do Biggs, Wedge, Sunfac, the TIE Fighter, the Scimitar, and then on your backup, I would have Slave 1 and then JC, Jedi Consular ship, or flip-flop and go Jedi Consular, Slave 1, either one. But try them out, see what you think, and let me know how you do. I know you're in the 140s, so hopefully you can get into the top 100 doing the suggestion that I've got. As always, I hope this roster review has helped you. I hope that it has given you a focus. Let's just review really quick. Finish off Boba Fett kind of as a side project. And then for your Empire, finish them off for more punch to your team, either your arena team or even any other team. Get Sidious, Darth Sidious up. You have him. He's a fun character. And then after you finish your Empire off, those top 5, move to Rebels, finish off Biggs, Wedge, and Admiral Akbar, and then move to Sith. Your top 4 Sith look great, and then do Darth Nihilus. And then I'd move to Jedi, and I'd continue to do Jedi Knight Anakin and Ayla on the side for your Jedi. Those you have not unlocked yet. And then do Ahsoka and Jedi Consular, and save gear for General Kenobi if you're dedicated enough. As always, I hope this helps you out. I hope it helps the viewers out. Keep your gaming on. Warrior out.